Hello, friends. Hope you're doing well. So, I had my first 1,000 point game recently here, and this was the army that I brought with me. I wanted to talk about my list a little bit and the thought that went into it. So, starting with the warlord, we had the Primaris Chaplain. No real reason for picking him other than he was in my combat patrol, and he was the last man standing, so I figured he was a good luck charm. This time we went up against some Custodies, and he went up against the whole Custody Guard by himself, and they rolled 25 dice against him and killed him. So, yeah, not a great choice, but I attached him here to some Assault Intercessors who were going to be objective claiming, and he gives some buffing to melee attacks, so I figured that would be a good play. And that didn't really work so great because the Custodies shot my Assault Intercessors off the board and then murdered this guy quite spectacularly. So that maybe not the best 1-2 combo, or maybe if I had got them in place before the Custodies used a stratagem to fight first, it would have worked a little better for me. And then I brought two regular Intercessor squads. They did a little better. They maintained some objectives for a turn or two and scored me some points, and that was kind of the point of bringing them, was to kind of be objective guys. And then we had aggressors, who I thought would be fun to get into some fist fights with the Custodies, and they got shot off the board turn one. So I set up this list to be part fun, and then part what I thought would be pretty good. And I thought, I'll bring a couple of melee guys. We can mix it up with some melee battle against the Custodies. And he shot all my melee guys off the board turn one, and then closed in, and then beat the crap out of everybody else. So they didn't really do much, but I like the way they look. Look how good these guys look, So can't be mad about that. Then I brought some heavy weapons to do some damage. I got some Eradicators. And the big reason I brought these guys is because everyone's like, oh, they delete stuff off the board. And it's like, yeah, they do if they can get the shots off. The problem is, with 9 wounds in the squad, they got, run off the table pretty quick. But I did get a couple of the Melta shots off, which does D6 damage, and that's pretty good. So maybe next time I'll do a better job protecting them, keeping them in the backfield, and then trying to get to actually use them, maybe make better use of cover, which I didn't do a great job of. And then I brought a 5-man squad of Hellblasters, which I thought they were going to do a lot more work, and they got a lot of shots in with their plasma incinerators, because they could shoot a little further than the Eradicators. They got 2 attacks each, and they have -2 armor piercing. But they don't do a lot of damage. They only do 1 damage per hit, and the Custodies have great saves, so that didn't help much. And then I brought 2 Dreadnoughts with me into this fight. Start with this big guy, the Ballistus Dreadnought, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm still new to this, so I'm still learning how to pronounce things, and I'm finding that more often than not I am wrong at pronouncing it, so bear with a newbie, please. So, Ballistus Dreadnought, it's got a lot of range of, 48 inches, so it kind of can shoot from across the board. And we played on a slightly shorter board for our 1,000 point game. We weren't measuring, we were at a big pre-made board at the local game store, and we were like, let's just cut these 2 squares out. Anyway, so it's got a missile launcher that fires frag and crack missiles. And that was a lot of fun to roll a lot of dice with, but it did not hit very hard, and the Custodies kind of just ate the missiles, so it didn't do me much good. The last cannon did a little bit better with the strength 12 and the d6 plus 1 damage. I actually did wipe a couple Custodies off the board, but the Custodies have a stratagem to bring Custodies back, I guess. So kind of like the Necron army, it did not help very much. They closed in, and the Custody Guard also annihilated them just as fast as they annihilated my chaplain, who I've decided to call Jeff the Skeleton Man, who is either the bravest warrior or the dumbest person in the entire galaxy, because he has now fought a Death Stalker and an entire Custodian Guard, both by himself. So, Jeff, you have earned a place in my heart. Then finally, I have the big Redemptor Dreadnought, and this is the one that did a lot of work with that big plasma incinerator. It got a lot of shots off. The Custody armor just was too good for most of its minor weapons, for the Onslaught Gatling gun and for the Icarus rocket pod. It did almost no damage, but that big plasma incinerator took a couple Custodies off the board, and then at the end there they kind of rushed it and they murdered it quite spectacularly. But to its credit, it does explode if you roll a d6, and it did explode, and it took about 6 Custodies with it when it blew up. So out of all this 1,000 points, I would say the Redemptor Dreadnought was probably the thing that did the most work, and hopefully I'll get to play Adam again here in a rematch against his Custodies, and then I'm just going to bring 5 Dreadnoughts, and that'll be my 1,000 point army. We'll see how he likes that, and maybe I'll have a chance against some Custodies. So anyway, that's the first 1,000 point list I built. The game went okay. I did get tabled at the bottom of turn 4, so it could have gone a little better, but I think I could have played a little smarter, could have used cover a little more to my advantage. The board was a little uneven, but I'm not going to complain about it, because I was like, yeah, this is great going into it. I'm kind of happy with how it turned out for my first 1,000 point game. I'm still learning, still trying to figure out the ins and outs, and I think it'll get better as time goes on. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. If you got any critiques or comments or suggestions that should have gone on this 1,000 point list, what would you have taken out? What would you have put in? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Love to talk shop here, trying to figure out this new hobby of mine. Thanks for watching.